All right, tonight's recording is specifically for AlgoBox 9.1.6.6. If you have 6.6, you will want to come into your settings here, and I'm going to give you 5 things that you need to do. Number one, we need to know how to launch into safe mode. In order to launch into safe mode, what you're going to do is you're going to hold the control key on your keyboard at the same time you launch the 64-bit NinjaTrader. Okay, so you have your 64-bit NinjaTrader 8. Now, this is where the confusion comes. There are two major revisions of NinjaTrader right now. NinjaTrader 8 has what we call .26, okay, and then the most recent one is .27. Now they do have a 27.1, so not to be confusing, but I need you to understand that this version right here, 27.1, is a major revision change for NinjaTrader. Now, oftentimes, new is not necessarily better. I would recommend, if you want to have less issues, as of right now, today, go to .26. It is as simple as uninstalling .27. Go into your control panel, go to uninstall NinjaTrader. Okay, go to their website to download, and you will see a button there that says download previous version and download version 2.6. Okay, just make sure you don't have the .27. They actually made a major change to the database on the back end. They're no longer using Microsoft Compact Edition. They have moved to the edition called SQLite. It is not the Microsoft Edition anymore. This may turn out to be great in the future, but as of right now, there are some issues with it. If you are on 2.7, I also need to speak to you. If you're doing 2.7 and you have 1.6.6, you need to make sure that your video card drivers are all up to date. The video card drivers are causing some issues with blinking. If you are having blinking charts, that's the best way to describe it, that they're kind of like blinking at you. There is some weird rendering going on. It has to do with 2.7. This is not us. This is not AlgoBox, but we have discovered the people who have updated to .27, they're having this issue. I'm not sure what NinjaTrader changed in it. All I know is that you will need to make sure that you do the updates on your video card, whether you do an AMD or NVIDIA or Intel. Make sure you go and specifically find your video card, do the update on it, or talk to a technician. We don't handle that for you. You need to learn how to do that on your own or hire a technician to do that. We are not responsible for your hardware. However, we are aware that there are some issues there. Okay. Now, back to how to launch in safe mode. Safe mode right here. Hold control and launch 64-bit. Now, what does that do? This is going to bypass all of your workspaces. It's going to bypass any third-party stuff, and you'll be able to actually launch NinjaTrader. If you're having problems with NinjaTrader launching, just hold control, and then it's going to launch you a blank workspace, and I'm going to do that right now and show you what that looks like. All right, so I've got my NinjaTrader icon right here. I'm going to hold control, and I'm going to double click on it. Now, yours may be on your task menu, wherever it's located. The main thing is that you're holding control while this is launching. I don't think I double clicked it there. There we go. But you'll see it says safe mode right there. So launching safe mode right there, that means that you are going into safe mode. So we'll let NinjaTrader launch up here, and what we should see is just the control panel. There we go. So what I want to do is now I want to select for us, if you're doing NinjaTrader, AlgoBox, and you're on 1.6, we want to go over here and we want to switch to our standard 1080p workspace and launch that. Okay, so when you launch that workspace, it should be pretty well blank. It could have some bars on it if you've got cached data, or it could be completely blank. But what we want to do is there are 2 things. So the next thing on our list, so the first one was safe mode. The second one is these 2 charts, these 2 AlgoBar charts. Not this one. This one doesn't matter. But these 2 right here, these need to be changed. Right now in our current template in 1.66, we will be putting out a release next week. At least the plan is to put one out next week for a little bug fix for this. But right now, I know you guys want to get working here and doing some market replay over the weekends or on Monday to get back to things. Again, if you have a high-end machine, this is not a problem. But a lot of people don't have the highest-end machines. So you need to do this. Right click and go to data series. What you'll notice is in our templates, unfortunately, I released this with 3 days of data. This just doesn't work for the lowest time frames, especially on NQ. Right now in the markets where the markets are super volatile right now, you're talking about tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of bars and calculations that are having to occur to go backwards in time to fulfill all of these. So 3 days, this is a problem. Set this to 1 day worth of data. Okay, so I'm going to select this. I'm literally just going to type in 1 right there. I'm going to click OK. Oops. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing for the second one. And while I'm in here, I'm going to show you one more thing that you need to do. I told you we were going to do, well, I think we were going to do 5 things. I've got 5 things for you to do here with all of this. Okay, so we're setting that to 1 day, and then right down here on plot executions, some people turn this to on. We have found what ends up happening is over multiple days, if you've taken a lot of trades, this is trying to draw all those on those charts. Make sure you set plot executions to do not plot if you're having issues. Now, if you're not having any issues, don't worry about it. But before you call technical support with us and everything, because these are just the things we're going to do, save us some time, save yourself some headache as well, kind of get familiar with your platform. Remember, you are now a professional. At the end of the day, this is not just some service that we're offering to you. Remember, you are part of a franchise. Now, not in the legal sense of the word franchise, but it is like a franchise. You are running your own trading business, and you are using our tools in our system. We're showing how to do it. So you need to be very familiar with how to run your business ins and outs. And whenever it has issues, you need to know what to fix. Okay, so this is another one. Set this to do not plot, and this will also help you in your speed. I'm not sure why this continues to do that a couple times, but we'll go ahead and click OK right there. Okay, so we are through 3 of those. We've got safe mode, we got days of data to 1, do not plot executions. Number 4 is we need to remove speedy chart from your charts. If you're having issues. Again, if you're not having issues, you don't need to do this. Speedy chart is awesome if you've got a high-end machine and video cards are all up to date and everything's working smoothly. It's amazing. I love it. I keep it on my machine, but a lot of you guys who are having issues, you've got lower end machines, you've got an i5 or an i7. If you're not in the i9 class, you're probably going to be having some issues. Or if you're trying to run on a laptop. I even just showed this recently. Somebody had an all-in-one. I have an all-in-one downstairs in my kitchen area. It's an i9. It's a 12900, but a 12900 on an all-in-one or a laptop, it is not the same. You got to go Google this, go look it up, go talk to some technical folks, or go onto YouTube and do some research. Like when they say 12900, I wish they would change the names and the letters, honestly, but they do. They keep them the same, but they're not the same. Okay, they cannot do the same thing. Thermal throttling is a problem on anything that has a very small case. They just cannot dissipate the heat. So the 12900 on a laptop is not the same as a 12900 on a desktop. That's why I tell you guys, if you really want to run this seriously, you really need to get yourself a nice big desktop like this one down here. And again, it's not expensive. We've showed you can build one out for about $1,500 with all the bells and whistles on it. And if you would like to get that same one, go into our room, type !PC, and you'll see the one that I did a build out on my phone. Literally just scrolling through on my phone, doing it on Cuck USA for the United States. Or again, you can order these from pretty much anywhere, but look at the same stats that I put into that machine. Okay, last thing. Go into your indicators on the chart. Oops. All right, I thought I hit the pause button there. These mushy buttons on the Stream Deck, man. Oh, can't stand the buttons on the Stream Deck. Okay, so I thought I'd pause there. And so this you will notice is your workspace will launch much faster after you set those to a single day. Now, last thing here, I'm going to go into indicators. Right click indicators. If your machine is working fine now, don't do this next step. Again, you should do these in this order. And if your machine's not having any issues, then keep it on. All right, but now see this right here, speedy chart. Go down here into the configured list. We want to remove 2 things. We're going to remove the speedy chart right here, and we also want to remove bid ask lines. Both of these are basically speeding up what's going on your on these charts, and it's doing more calculations. It's doing calculations on each tick. So if your machine, instead of on each bar, if your machine is struggling, take off these 2 items right here. And again, you may or may not have Enigma. I won't talk about that. Enigma is separate, but just right here, I'm going to remove these 2 right here, remove speedy chart, and I'm going to remove bid ask lines, and I'm going to click on OK. All right, so I've removed those, and it is going very fast. Now, if you like speedy chart, if you've seen what speedy chart does, I actually like what it does because I can feel it. You can almost feel the market kind of, it starts getting jittery, and it's almost like it's going to launch. I love seeing that on the chart, super fast, blah, 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 boom, and then we take off. I like to see it. Now, if you want to put speedy chart back on, I'll give you another setting for that. Instead of the default out of the box that we've currently got it set to is 10 milliseconds. So I'm going to go back in here into my list and I'm going to add speedy chart back. Okay, but instead of 10, set this to something higher, 100 for instance. Now, let me tell you how you would kind of gauge this. The default out of the box for NinjaTrader, according to their documentation, is 250 milliseconds. Okay, this is built in milliseconds. So what you want to do is refresh your chart every 100 then, which would still be 10 times per second. You'd be surprised at how much difference that is, but this will cut it in more than half of the time for that refresh, and even that will be helpful. If you want to try that out, see if that works for you, that's fine. But again, at the end of the day, if you really want your system to run the best, you really need to go ahead and get yourself a beastie machine. Get yourself one of those i9s. That is important. Now, one of the things I just showed you guys recently, but I'm going to rehash it again. We're going to go into Tools, Database Management right here. Now, we just did a whole video on this, so I'm not going to go through every little detail of this, but go into Tools, Data Management, and I want you to do a database reset. Final thing there. This is going to be really good for you if you're having any issues. The historical orders and the executions will go away, but this clears out the database, gets it nice and lean for you, and you will notice a huge difference in your time to launch. And if you've got a lower end machine or any slowness or crashing issues, these things will clear you up right away. I will catch you guys on Monday. We'll be putting out a bug fix release for this so that these are already in the templates ahead of time. I will get that to you guys next week, probably on Wednesday, but I wanted you guys to have something you can work with this weekend and on Monday, Tuesday. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one.